Hi, I'm here to talk to you just a wee little bit about Bible telling. First, I want to say thank you to all of you for the positive feedback and the support and the encouragement you gave us while we did the stories from Genesis to Revelation. That meant so much. Just thank you. But it's time for a new project. So, you know that in August, Josh is going to start a 20-week sermon series on the book of Mark. So I have taken the book of Mark and I have crafted 68 very short, action-packed stories that are just waiting to be told. Now, we want to do something a little bit different with this series. In fact, it's going to be a lot different. First off, we want to make the settings for these stories much more casual and very comfortable. And the second change is that we're not going to have one person doing a formal presentation of the story. Instead, we'd like to have pairs of people or groups of 2 or 3 telling the stories in a conversational manner. That means I'm not going to be your storyteller, but I will train you on how to tell and how to prepare these stories. So we're extending an invitation to all the women of Carlisle Christian Church to be our biblical storytellers. Okay, I'm not a mind reader, but right now I'm pretty sure that a lot of you who are watching this are saying, nope, cannot talk in front of a crowd, cannot memorize that much. So let me quell both of those fears for you. First, you're not going to be talking in front of a crowd. You're going to be with a friend, or I'd love to see some mother-daughter teams or some 3-generation teams. That's who you'll be with as you're telling the story. And the second thing is that I'm going to let you in on a secret. No good storyteller ever memorizes a story. And that's why I'm going to offer some trainings. I will share with you the techniques and strategies that we use to prepare and tell a story. These are the exact same strategies I use when I'm working in the prison ministry. And many of the women and the men that I'm working with in that setting, they've never been given the opportunity to learn how to read and write, and yet they can fluently tell 25 stories or more. These are the same strategies I use when I'm working overseas in the mission field. And that's a whole different challenge too. There, I often have classes of 300-400 people, and many of them can't even speak English, but they use the strategies that we teach them, and they become beautiful storytellers. So you can do this, and trust me, you're going to want to do this. Think about it. We are going to put together an epic telling of the Gospel of Mark, and you can be part of that. This is part of your legacy that you can hand on to your children, your grandchildren, your friends. So for the trainings, the first training is going to be June 4th, Friday morning from 9 o'clock till noon. Now, I don't think we're going to need all 3 hours, but I have it scheduled just in case. During that training, you'll select your story, I'll teach you the strategies, I'll show you how to tell with a friend, and I promise you at the end of that training, you will be fluently telling that story. The next training, and it's going to be the exact same training, you only need to come to one, will be on Thursday, June 10th in the fellowship hall from 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock at night. So I'll put sign-up sheets out in the information center so you can sign up for one of those 2 trainings. I'm going to put a third sheet out there too, and that's going to be for anybody who, if you cannot, for whatever reason, you can't come to the trainings on June 4th or June 10th, sign up on that third sheet. Give me your name, your contact information, and tell me what's a good time that you could come to a training. Do you need one on a Sunday afternoon, a Saturday morning, a Monday night? I don't care if I have to do this training 12 times. I'll do that because I don't want you to miss out on the opportunity to be a part of this project. It's going to be great. You're going to laugh. You're going to get a chance to work with your sisters here at church. You're going to have an opportunity to give praise and glory to God as a storyteller. And here's something else I want you to think about. You all know the story of Jesus sitting on Jacob's well. and the Samaritan woman comes to draw water. And as they're having their conversation, he looks her in the eye and he reveals something to her that he hasn't told anyone yet. He says, "I am the Messiah." And what did she do? She set down her clay jar and she ran back into the village of Sychar and she told his story. She discipled an entire village with one story. I came to realize something else as I worked on the Gospel of Mark. Jesus had so many followers during his public ministry. In fact, the word follow is used over 40 times in the Gospel of Mark. He had the 12 apostles who followed him. He had disciples, scribes and Pharisees followed him for a different reason, but they followed. And he had a faithful group of women who followed him. They wanted to learn from him. They wanted to support him. And I came to realize that at the end of Jesus' time here on earth, there was only one group who was with him when he died, when he was buried, and when he rose from the dead. And that was the women. The apostles weren't there for all of that. None of the wealthy men of Jerusalem, none of the scribes, none of the Roman officials, just the women were there for his death, his burial, his resurrection. And when he saw Mary Magdalene, what were his first words to her? "Don't cling to me. Go, find Peter and the others and tell my story." Ladies, Jesus treasures each and every one of us. And he treasures our ability to be storytellers. He's issued a challenge. He has given us a ministry. So who's ready to accept that challenge?